Last week, I made a video that dived into the story presented within the game of Slay the Princess. However, I left off the endings presented within the game because they are numerous and deserve more time to go into depth and meanings presented within them. Because of the story provided, the endings aren't so simple, such that you can simply say which one is the absolute best just from their outcomes, as each have outcomes which have favorable elements. So, within this video, I want to go over the endings as well as their relation to the connections of the characters to find as definitive of an answer as possible as to what the best ending actually is. Now, quick note here, there are a lot of endings, but a good portion of them are similar, but with the stranger princess. So, just for simplicity's sake, I will combine any endings that have a repetitive nature, which simplifies the number of endings down to 6 major endings. But before we dive into it, please make sure to like and subscribe, as well as comment your favorite ending before continuing this video, as I want to see how broad the raw favoring of endings are. The first ending occurs if you, the long quiet, follow the instructions of the narrator without any deviations. Doing so, you will have killed the princess and you believed her to be dead. Once doing so, your belief of her truly being dead will lead to the shifting mound ceasing to exist, and as such, ending the concepts she governs. After this, you remain in the cabin and get lost in a blissful state of happiness, not only for a certain period of time, but for all time, forever. The outcome which occurs from this ending is that you have eliminated the shifting mound, and as such, change has ceased. This does end all of death within all of existence, but by getting rid of all of change, you've essentially eliminated growth. And depending on your philosophical view, you've ended the value of living in the first place. Furthermore, while your character is in a permanent state of happiness, that is all he is for the rest of eternity, not doing anything, just locked in a cabin in a trance-like state, alone for all of time. This is the supposed good ending. The second ending occurs if you choose to not play the game at all. What if you didn't listen to the narrator? Hell, what if you never even made it to the cabin in the first place? Well, as you never get to see the princess and never build a perception of her, reality begins to fall apart and the world is destroyed. The shifting mound never gets a version of her that is changed, but she is never slain either. And adding to this, you never come closer to your self-actualization of godhood. Doing this over and over again, eventually neither the long quiet nor the shifting mound self-actualize, and as such they lose a grip over their governance and all of existence ends. What occurs in this ending is called oblivion. The statements from the princess within the ending is why I believe this ending, as well as the previous ending, to not be good endings based on the narrative of the games. Numerous times the princess says she hates you. However, as it goes along, she apologizes. And by the very end, a confession is made. I love you, she says. The story between the shifting mound and the long quiet is a love story. They are literally two halves of a whole, and their connection to each other is stronger than any connection mortals could ever dream to wrap their heads around. As much as they are trying to find themselves within the story of the game, they are also trying to find each other, trying to connect with each other, trying to love each other. Of course, the love that is displayed seems violent and irregular to us, but this game is the manifestation of their love and their connection to each other. If we want to find a best ending, we should focus on endings where it maximizes their connections between each other, which is why I believe the previously mentioned endings, even the supposed good ending, are truly not the best ones. Moving on to our next contender, occurs when both the long quiet and the shifting mound become fully actualized and essentially all powerful. The shifting mound attempts to persuade you to join her and break free of the confines they are currently presiding in. She mentions they can leave together and that they are meant to be together and travel through worlds together. And within this ending, you accept her deal. You take her hand, and together you travel throughout the cosmos. You both see 1,000 dawns and 1,000 sunsets, with infinitely more to come. You are at home with each other and will never know fear, sadness, or loneliness ever again. It's a presumably sweet ending as you both are together and happy, right? Well, there is a significant wrinkle that puts this ending into a much more negative light that is elucidated within future endings. The thing about being a god is that it removes their sense of self and individuality. Their connections and thoughts are ironically clouded by the infinite information present within the mind of a god. This is why, in future endings, when they relinquish the vastness of their godly status, they mention that they feel more like themselves again. Because of their connection not being allowed to reach the depths of its full potential due to their cloudiness of godhood, I personally denounce this ending to be the absolute best possible ending within the game. The last three endings all start from the same position, and that is after the relinquishment of the godly nature. You meet up back in the cabin where you feel more like yourselves and begin to have a conversation. In this ending, you bring the knife down to the basement with you. After a conversation, you decide to commit to killing the princess, and as such, the shifting mound permanently. And as she dies, she hopes you don't regret your decision and says she loves you. Once she dies, death ends, just like our first mentioned ending. However, the significant difference is now your consciousness is aware of the existence that is created in only your wake, surrounded by the voices you have collected as you played the game. This is a direct opposite to the second to last ending we will mention, where after relinquishing the godly nature, grabbing the knife, and meeting in the cabin, you cannot go through with killing her due to your love for her. The only way to proceed forward is for her to kill you. Doing so will reset everything, and the game will begin from the very beginning, as if the events that occurred prior never even happened. This creates a cycle where you need to go through the self-actualization process again, and if you make it back to this point, you need to hope that both of you will choose to continue to keep resetting the world in an infinite loop forever. These two endings are poor endings, as of course they do not allow for a conclusion, or at least a satisfying one, to their connection which had flourished throughout the game. However, these are the only two endings you are capable of receiving from these actions, and it's all because within both these endings, you decided to bring the knife. Bringing the knife shows that you don't trust her, or you don't have the emotions for her required to restrain yourself from bringing it. It shows that one of your deaths was such a probable solution within your mind that you brought the knife in order to be able to act on it. This is why I believe this last ending we will discuss is objectively the best ending of the game based on the narrative. This ending proceeds like the previous two, where the ultimate powers of godhood are relinquished, and you both are nothing more than ordinary people, fully conscious of your own thoughts and feelings, with nothing to cloud them. Before you go down to the basement to talk with the princess, you are greeted with the blade sitting on the table. However, this time, you make the decision to not bring it. Why would you need to? You love her. There is not a single thought or action which you desire, such that it requires an instrument for harm. So you leave it. You walk down the stairs and are greeted with the princess. After a while of deliberating, you ask for a simple request. You ask her to leave with you. And you know what? She agrees to it. The voice of the hero doesn't follow, Because this path is not his journey. It's yours. It's both of yours. You and the princess. You both walk up the stairs and are met at the door of the cabin, where both of you have been stopped at throughout the entirety of the game. What happens when you go out there? What will be waiting? Will it be pleasant or horrifying, tranquil or painful? Truthfully, neither of you know. But it doesn't matter, because regardless of what's out there, what matters is you two are together to shoulder each other through whatever obstacle awaits. Before you open the door, you proclaim your love for each other, and finally you both take the leap of faith, and you are met with the title screen. This is the best ending. Although we do not know what they encountered when they opened the door, it simply doesn't matter. Regardless of whatever happened to be out there, we know a single simple truth. We know that they are together. They aren't together as deities or with some hazy sense of self, but fully together, truly together. This ending is the resolution of their love, and that choice to take on the world without the comfort of their godly status, but rather with the trust and emotions they have for each other, is more divine than any previous showings within the game. But that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe, as that would mean a lot to me, and comment below what you think of my assessment, as I'd love to hear it. With all that out the way, I hope you all have a great day, and peace out.